It permits education in depth. It requires independent study in many subjects and launches what can become lifelong self-education. By reducing the courses offered in one semester, the 3-3 plan makes optimum use of classrooms and physical plant as well. The junior oral examination is required of each student before he is admitted to senior standing. He is examined by professors in such areas as science, the humanities, and social sciences. Reinforced and sustained by vital ties to the United Presbyterian Church in the USA, Coe stresses that man's problems are not merely intellectual, but moral, spiritual. Wisdom welcomes change, but retains and reinforces that which endures. Chapel services at Coe offer every student an abiding awareness of a power that passeth understanding, of truth and moral excellence as guides for life. Coe students eager to learn become working partners of faculty eager to teach. To ensure the student's growth, the wise teacher acts with and not for the student. The artist learns to capture the living model's form and movement in enduring lines. Professor Whiting says, "Let the shape enter and enliven the mind and the hand." To the late Frank Lloyd Wright, did research on architecture and sculpture in India on a Fulbright grant. One feels one's way in art and becomes sensitized to beauty and to culture. Art and music are fundamental to that coeducation which liberates the mind. Marquis Hall, built in 1959 and named for John A. Marquis, Coe's 5th president, contains the Fisher Music Library, the Daler Kitchen Auditorium, studios, and practice rooms. Fisher Music Library houses the complete works of Bach and Mozart and is equipped for high-fidelity listening. In her music theory class, Miss Turacek compares by harmonic analysis the opening and closing movements of a Beethoven sonata. A student of the organ, directed by Miss Taylor, studies a litany by Chauhan Alain, the great 27-year-old French composer who was killed in World War II. Dr. Olson directs the Coe Choir in rehearsal of All Glory, Laud, and Honor in preparation for the annual spring tour. Mr. Stafford's class in conducting sets the air a-quiver with martial resonance. A cultivated taste and breadth and depth of learning distinguish a liberally educated person. Every co-student must show competence in a foreign language. Dr. Wiese, author and pioneering language teacher, begins a lesson in German. On a sabbatical leave in Germany, Dr. Wiese is making a linguistic analysis of language spoken on the radio. Dr. Gobert, who has just returned from a sabbatical in France, meets his French poetry class in a setting the Provençal poets would approve of. An in-class English theme requires concentration and thought, and generates a mastery of written expression that pleases Dr. Kern, a kindly critic. Every co-student must demonstrate proficiency in speech as well as in writing. Co's nationally recognized debaters practice presentations under the watchful eye of Mr. Engdahl. In 1964, Co's team of 22 speakers placed first among 61 colleges and universities in the largest collegiate tournament in the nation. Theater at Co, like speech, achieves performances approaching professional quality. A production class taught by Miss Ringland readies costumes and sets for a major production. Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being Earnest in dress rehearsal. To ensure depth of learning, every co-student concentrates in one or more disciplines. Dr. Spencer's seminar in political science generates a room full of ideas. Dr. Murray meets his English history seminar in his home. He recently returned from Amsterdam, where he did research for a book on the age of Rembrandt. Dr. Schmidt, back from 6 months' study in the Soviet Union on a Russian-American cultural exchange program, brings his history class fresh insights on Russian-Chinese affairs. Dr. Ino of Tokyo, visiting professor in non-Western studies, lectures on the teachings of Buddha. Dr. Erickson's sociology seminar analyzes such social problems as school and college dropouts. Rigorous self-study accounts for much of Co's recent progress. Dr. Powell's class in labor economics discusses wage negotiations as they affect consumer prices. Utilizing the case method developed in the better graduate schools, business administration majors work out a problem in merchandising. Dr. Hamilton's class in psychology studies the nature of color vision as a sensory process in human behavior. In mathematics, students discuss a way of measuring distance between points in space. Physics majors, directed by Dr. Casper, use radiation detection apparatus to plot a response curve. Dr. Casper studied radiation physics with Dr. James A. Van Allen. In the tradition of Dr. Ben and his famous 47 boys, students in analytical chemistry learn precision of performance and astute observation. For honors in chemistry, Orm Aniline, holding a National Science Foundation grant, studies the behavior of dyes on metal complexes. Orm has been awarded a graduate fellowship at Yale to work for the PhD. Coe's honors program permits superior students, as juniors and seniors, to undertake intensive research. Ward Bowersox, for his honors project, investigates the reaction of aromatic amines with epichlorohydrin. Ward has been accepted to study medicine at the State University of Iowa. Richard Watts undergoes an honors examination upon his research in N-substituted pyrols. He is questioned by Dr. Pennington, chairman of the chemistry department. Richard will study for the PhD degree at the University of Colorado. Honors research in mathematics led Linda Nelson to sources published only in Russian. She learned Russian and made important discoveries in algebraic theory, which she discusses with Dr. Lindsay. Linda will attend the University of Wisconsin Graduate School. Coe offers qualified students special off-campus research opportunities at the ACM Wilderness Field Station in Minnesota, at Argonne National Laboratory, at Washington, D.C. 1/3 of Coe's graduates qualify for public school teaching. The excellent Cedar Rapids schools provide optimum conditions for practice teaching. One man already knows how to hit the books. As a community service, Coe cooperates with St. Luke's Hospital by teaching certain required courses in Coe's liberal arts curriculum. Dr. Seymour instructs a class in microbiology. Campus living units demonstrate the feasibility of Coe's long-range plan to maintain a total environment conducive to learning. Ideas planted in the classroom and library must be cultivated in the dormitory. Reading begun elsewhere must become habitual here. One borrows wisdom from his teachers to shower upon his peers. And friendship is not a contest, but a creation. There is time for friendship at Coe. What better way to let loose that leftover energy than in intramurals? Coe's varsity athletes compete in the Midwest Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. In all 10 conference schools, the athletes are the scholars and the scholars the athletes. The Cohawks take the field against St. Olaf. And now to jar the victory bell. Coe College is the cultural center for more than 150,000 persons living in the Cedar Rapids area. The college art galleries display 10 exhibits annually. The Fine Arts Festival presents an extensive program of lectures and artists, such as Coe alumnus William L. Shirer, Arnold Toynbee and Sir Charles Snow, William Massalos, Judith Anderson, and Basil Rathbone, Truman Capote, and W.H. Auden. A community service in adult education, Coe's Evening College enrolls over 400 persons each year. Coe College is a citizenship laboratory. Students conduct their own two-day training encampment for student government and living unit officers. Guests are President McCabe, Associate Dean John Wilkinson, Dean of Women Nancy Dickens, and Warren Renneke, Counselor to Men. Students mirror their teachers, and teachers their college. Committed to their students as superior teachers must be, Coe's faculty also make notable contribution to knowledge and to culture. Authors of books, Dr. Taylor, Political Science, Doctors Murray and Schmidt, History, Dr. Parsons, Philosophy, Dr. Falk, English, and Dr. Wiese, German. In recent years, a third of Coe's faculty has received significant foundation or government grants in recognition of teaching or research. In the past 10 years, the number of faculty holding the PhD degree has almost doubled. Coe College has a history and a hope. The Ford Foundation has studied that history carefully, critically, and offered to invest $1,400,000 as a challenge grant in its belief that Coe can become a greater center of excellence.
Ford's belief has become Coe's hope. Coe College can become an even greater center of excellence. To do so, we must meet these pressing needs. Build a new science building costing $1,300,000. Renovate present science building, $200,000. Coe's nationally recognized scientists, both faculty and students, now labor under these conditions. Build Gage Memorial Student Union to include an all-college dining hall costing $1,100,000. Present dining facilities are completely overwhelmed. Temporary union building, the tub, is the old gymnasium. Construct new dormitories costing $1,125,000 to house additional students and replace such conditions as these. Remodel the library and increase book acquisition, $550,000. Present library facilities permit economical expansion. To establish a first-rate library, Coe will add from 40 to 50,000 volumes. To renovate other buildings and grounds, $350,000. And add to endowment, $1,250,000, while meeting current operating expenses of $1 million. Total objective, $6,875,000. With a total objective of $6,875,000, our sources of funds are, first, the Ford grant, $1,400,000. Cash pledged and on hand, $1,500,000. Self-liquidating loans, $1,100,000. Total, $4 million. Leaving to be raised by June 30, 1966, $2,875,000. This sum will be raised because it meets our basic needs. Our Board of Trustees, headed by Donald McKay, is giving full support to this campaign, both by leadership and by substantial contributions. Mr. Robert C. Armstrong, former chairman of the board, is serving as general chairman of the campaign. These needs anticipate a great future for Coe College.
Coe's basic needs anticipate a gradual growth of Coe without sacrificing the advantages of the small liberal arts college. Those needs anticipate the continuancy of Coe's fundamental purpose, academic excellence in a Christian orientation. These needs anticipate Coe's further development as a center of excellence in liberal education. What are our assets as we go to work to achieve this goal? These trustees, this administration, this faculty, these students and their parents, Coe alumni and friends across the land. And this ever-swelling stream of Coe graduates whose lives have been rendered fruitful by this college.
Coe College must raise $2,875,000 by June 30, 1966. Impossible, you see? My friend, in a critical moment in the early history of a great college, a farmer from the Catskills of New York saved that college with a gift of $1,500, part of which he had to borrow. That college was located in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and that man was Daniel Coe, your benefactor and mine.